Is the U.S. economy in a once-in-a-lifetime financial transition? In response to the fall of Silicon Valley Bank, the United States government implemented emergency steps to strengthen the nation's financial system. It was the worst bank failure in the United States since the financial crisis of 2008, and it heightened fears about the viability of the economy at a time when uncertainty was already high and the possibility of a recession was already looming throughout the world. The new 2-hour series being broadcast on Pearlin tonight, titled Age of Easy Money, could never arrive at a more opportune moment. It tells the story of an epic economic experiment that started in the wake of the financial crisis that occurred in 2008 and explains how we arrived at this uncertain juncture in time. If we hadn't been driving our economy for 14 years with easy money and then tried to quickly undo that now, we wouldn't be having these problems, former top banking regulator Sheila Bair told us this week in an interview for the documentary. We would not be having these problems. We would not be having these problems. The program that will be broadcast tonight will trace the turbulent path that our economy has taken from the crisis that occurred in 2008, when investors, speculators, and Wall Street bankers came dangerously close to bringing down the global economy, to the current state of uncertainty, which includes the critical role that the Federal Reserve, the country's central bank, has played. The experiment that the Federal Reserve conducted to resuscitate the economy by dropping interest rates to almost zero and creating and injecting fresh money into the financial system is the subject of the film investigation of the experiment. The program has been referred to as an easy money policy, and the documentary investigates how, now that the Federal Reserve has started reducing its monetary policy and increasing interest rates in a bid to battle inflation, the risks and excesses that had been building up during the age of easy money are beginning to become apparent. We lived in a bubble, in a dream, and this dream in a bubble is bursting. Nouriel Roubini, an economist and author who became famous for his accurate prediction of the financial crisis that occurred in 2008, warns in the documentary. Roubini is in the process of producing the documentary. The documentary Age of Easy Money investigates the wide-ranging and often unforeseen repercussions of the Federal Reserve's experiment, as well as the reasons why the Fed decided to begin increasing interest rates at a historic pace to combat inflation in the previous year. According to Neil Kashkari, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, who spoke with a correspondent named James Jacoby, now we have to bring the hammer. We need to bring the hammer because if we don't, this situation has the potential to spiral out of control. When Age of Easy Money airs on public broadcasting service PBS on Tuesday, March 14, at a special time of 9 p.m. 8 p.m. Central Time, it will be directed by James Jacoby and produced by Jacoby and Anya Borg, the award-winning team behind Amazon Empire and the Facebook Dilemma. The documentary is based on 2 years of reporting and interviews with significant financial players, leading economic thinkers, current and former top-level Fed insiders, officials from the Trump and Biden administrations, and people whose lives have been influenced by the economic policies of the country. It is the most recent chapter in Frontline's extensive history of monitoring the American economy and the forces that influence it, and it provides critical context for the current situation that we find ourselves in by providing this information. I believe that we are in the midst of a financial transition that will only occur once in a lifetime, and I believe that everyone needs to sort of brace themselves for that. Over the year 2022, the economy remained robust. The unemployment rate was hovering close to all-time lows. The unemployment rate is at its lowest level in half a century. As a result, wages were going up. A wage increase of approximately 5% each year was also observed. As a result, the Federal Reserve has continued to apply the brakes to bring inflation under control. Even though the Federal Reserve has been increasing interest rates to slow the economy, the fact that so many businesses are still employing indicates that the economy is not going down that quickly. Wall Street was enraged by that. A bell is ringing. The financial district of Wall Street experienced yet another day of turbulence as the risk of a recession continued to grow. Greater than, and you're probably feeling it in those 401s. For the stock market and bond market, was the worst year since the great financial crisis in 2008. Greater than, the Nasdaq was down for 4 straight quarters for the first time since the dot-com implosion. In 2022, we've got this extremely unique circumstance whereby you've had double-digit losses on both risky assets, stocks, and risk-free assets. U.S. Treasuries. That's not intended to happen. However, there has been no place to conceal oneself. Retirement plans and pension systems face a significant challenge as a result of this. Regardless of how thoroughly you diversified your portfolio, there was absolutely no risk reduction in it at all. Greater than, did it all fail? There was no success at all. At the end of December, existing house sales in the United States reached a 12-year low. Greater than, the housing market has been significantly impacted by your actions. The cycle of interest rate hikes implemented by the Federal Reserve has caused the housing market to enter a recession. After a very long period, housing prices have now begun to decrease. This is a significant development. There has been a decline in mortgage applications. In the cryptocurrency market, you have witnessed the demise of a large number of businesses. The crypto winter has arrived. There is a connection between that and the events that have taken place with the Federal Reserve. Greater than Sam, cling to me, Sam, and let's be on our way. An inquiry is being conducted on Sam Bankman-Fried by regulators in the United States, and maybe the Department of Justice as well. He put $3 million into the Lyonnais company, and now is worth $1,000. It is you who is responsible for the creation of these asset bubbles, which include bubbles in stock markets, bond markets, real estate markets, art markets, as well as any other market in which people invest their money with borrowed money. At that point, the bubbles burst, which resulted in a decline in the market. When it comes to reporting on the economy and the financial markets, Stephen Pearlin has been doing it for almost 40 years. There is a tendency for bubbles to be everywhere these days. This is because if the source of the money is inexpensive, then you can be pretty sure that it is not just real estate, or it is not just equities, or it is not just technology and telecom. In addition, it is not simply Bitcoin. These things are related to one another like that of rubber bands, and whatever propels one of them also propels and drives all of them. There is a well-known quote attributed to the billionaire Warren Buffett. You know, until the tide goes out, you won't know who has been swimming naked that you've been swimming naked. And the laughter of the audience. About the description of what has been taking place, almost everyone I spoke to reiterated that line. The moment that interest rates begin to climb and the tide begins to pull out, as Warren Buffett would say, you can't know who is swimming naked. That is until the tide begins to recede. The person who is swimming without a bathing suit is the one you see. Greater than, when the tide is beginning to recede. When the tide goes out, we will find out who is already wearing their bikinis. What is truly remarkable is the fact that a large number of individuals, including myself, think that there will most likely be a more significant correction at some point in the future. It is important to note, however, that when you indicate that you anticipate a more significant correction, what exactly do you mean by that? This is something that a lot of people are going to witness, and it is evident that they are going to be concerned about it, if that is feasible. Therefore, the markets experienced a decline of 20% in the previous year. That appears to be quite a lot. If we were in a typical market cycle, I would say something along the lines of, okay, we're done, our position is most likely near the bottom. Because of what we are looking back at this age of easy money, I am not sure if it is safe for me to claim that we are at the bottom. Not only after the onset of the financial crisis, but previous to that as well. It is important to note that over several decades, interest rates have been steadily decreasing, while the amount of debt has been steadily increasing. Because this is a considerable amount of time during which assets have been allegedly artificially inflated, is it possible that you might observe a continuation of the correction at some point in the future? It is not impossible. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.